Welcome back, everyone, to Echoes of Ihsan. You know how this works. We find some fascinating Islamic texts and extract those golden nuggets of wisdom, right?
That's us.
Well, today, we're going deep into Sahih Bukhari, specifically Book 11. It's all about the Adhaan.
The call to prayer?
It's more than just, a call to prayer, though.
Oh, absolutely.
There's layers to it. We're going to uncover how it even came about.
Oh, yeah.
What makes it unique compared to other faith traditions.
Yeah, it's...
And even some surprising spiritual and soulful stuff, honestly.
Yeah, get ready
So
to be
that's-
surprised. You know, it's really fascinating. The Adhaan, it's essential to Muslim life today.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't there from the beginning.
Really? So you're telling me in those early days of Islam in Medina,
Yeah.
there wasn't a set way of letting people know, hey, it's prayer time.
Picture it. The very first Muslims, they were so eager to pray, but no system for knowing when to gather.
Oh, so they were just estimating.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Not exactly efficient.
I can see how that would cause some issues.
Oh, big time.
Maybe even missed prayers.
You got it. So they knew they had to come up with something, so they started brainstorming.
Makes sense. Did they take inspiration from other faiths around them?
Exactly. Some thought a bell, like the Christians.
Okay. Yeah.
Others liked the idea of a trumpet, like the Jews used.
It's interesting to see that kind of exchange of ideas.
Totally. Early Islam, it was such a multicultural setting.
Absolutely. A bell or a trumpet, huh? But neither of those are the Adhaan. So what happened? How did the Adhaan we know today come about?
Well, it was Umar ibn al-Khattab, one of the Prophet Muhammad's closest companions, who suggested using the human voice.
With human voice.
Yeah. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, he approved. He chose Bilal ibn Rabah to be the first muadhin,
Wow.
the one to call out the Adhaan.
And Bilal,
Yeah.
his story is really powerful, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a testament to Islam's emphasis on equality. You choose a formerly enslaved man for such an important role.
Right. It's saying, hey, in the eyes of God, we're all equal.
Exactly. It's a powerful statement.
It's a profound statement. It's about the inherent worth, the dignity of everyone. It didn't matter their background or social standing. Bilal, in this position, it challenged those social hierarchies.
Big time.
And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he showed that true piety, it transcends all of that worldly stuff.
So we have Bilal, we have the human voice.
Yeah.
What about the words of the Adhaan itself? Who chose those?
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he gave Bilal very specific instructions on what to say and how to say it.
Okay.
Each phrase of the Adhaan was repeated twice.
Twice.
Think about it, repetition.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It really emphasizes it.
It amplifies the message. It etches it into your heart, into your mind.
Right. But there's also the Iqamah, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two?
So the Adhaan, think of it as the first announcement, like prayer time is approaching. It's like, hey, start getting ready mentally, physically, spiritually.
Right.
Wrap things up, head to the mosque.
Right. Yeah.
Now, the Iqamah, that's the immediate call to line up, to start praying.
Okay, so Adhaan is get ready.
Right.
Iqamah is go.
Exactly. The prayer is about to start. Get in position.
Got it. Is the Iqamah structured the same way with those repeated phrases?
Almost. Most of the phrases are only said once, but there's an exception. Quad Qamat is salat. It means the prayer has commenced. Now, that one is repeated twice.
Interesting. Why is that?
It's like a final reminder. Put away all distractions. The prayer is starting.
So even within the Iqamah, there's emphasis.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting, this careful structuring, right?
Yeah.
Down to the way you call to prayer.
It shows you how important and significant this act is.
It really does. There's that Hadith in Sahih Bukhari about a rather unusual reaction to the Adhaan.
Oh, yeah.
It's from Satan.
Yes. When the Adhaan is called out,
Yeah.
Satan runs away. He's passing wind, trying to get as far from the sound as possible.
That's a funny image.
Right.
But what's that telling us?
It highlights the spiritual power of the Adhaan. It's like a repellent for negative forces.
Spiritual repellent. I like that. So what are we supposed to do
Yeah.
when we hear the Adhaan being called?
Respond to the mu'adhin.
Okay.
Repeat the words. It reinforces the message, strengthens your connection.
Creates that sense of unity, right?
Exactly. Everyone echoing that same declaration of faith. And you know what's amazing? It's not just humans who respond.
Wait, you're kidding.
No. The Hadith says even jinn,
Wow.
other creatures we can't perceive, they'll all bear witness for the one who called the Adhaan on the day of judgment.
It's amazing the impact it has.
It's huge, and it makes you realize the responsibility of the mu'adhin.
Right.
they're entrusted with this powerful act. Are there, like, specific guidelines for the Adhaan etiquette?
That's a good question.
Yeah. There's a supplication you're encouraged to say after hearing the Adhaan. Allahumma rabba hadith da'wati tamati was salatil qaimati ati Muhammadan al wasilata wal fadilata wa barumakman mamudanilati wa atta.
Wow.
So you're asking a Lord, this perfect call, the prayer being established to grant Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, intercession, superiority, and the highest place in paradise.
Wow, what a beautiful supplication.
Yeah.
So we've got this call to prayer.
Yes.
It repels negative influences.
Yes.
Opens up pathways for blessings. But it wasn't just a spiritual practice, was it? It was also very practical, right, for daily life.
Oh, yeah. I think of the Adhaan acted like the community clock.
The community clock.
Interesting, especially during Ramadan.
Ramadan, yeah.
Okay, so Bilal's Adhaan at night. That meant it was time for suhu.
Hold on, suhur.
What?
For those who aren't familiar, what's that?
Suhu is the meal Muslims eat before the start of the daily fast during Ramadan.
I see.
Provides energy.
Okay, so Bilal's Adhaan, it let people know, start eating. What about when it was time for the fast to begin?
They'd keep eating until Ibn Maktum, who is blind, called the Adhaan for Fajr prayer. He was more attuned to those changes in light, you see.
Oh, so he could tell when dawn was breaking.
Exactly.
That's amazing how they work together. They use their individual strengths to support each other's practice. But it goes even beyond daily routines, right? I remember a hadith about warfare.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he would actually postpone attacks if he heard the Adhaan.
Really?
Even in battle. Shows how deeply prayer was ingrained in their lives.
Even in the heat of battle, prayer was the priority.
Paramount.
Wow. That just speaks volumes about the commitment to prayer, doesn't it?
It does.
And speaking of commitment to prayer, Sahih Bukhari really emphasizes praying together in congregation. Why is that so important?
Praying in congregation, it has way more reward than praying alone.
Okay.
One hadith says 25 times more rewarding.
Wow.
Another says 27 times.
Wow. Why the different numbers?
The specific number isn't as important as the consistent message. Praying together is way better.
So what makes that difference so big? Why is it so much more rewarding?
Imagine everyone coming together, leaving behind their worries, their distractions, aligning shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart.
Everyone focused on the same thing.
All united in their devotion. That's the power of congregational prayer. It cultivates unity, strengthens brotherhood and sisterhood.
Creates that shared purpose.
Exactly. It's not just about you praying.
It's about the collective, the energy.
It's spiritual synergy.
Yeah. Every step towards the mosque increases reward and erases sins.
That's right. And remember that hadith about the man who complained about a long prayer?
The one with the prophet?
Yeah, the prophet, peace be upon him, he told imams to shorten prayers.
Oh, yeah?
To accommodate people's needs.
It's about finding that balance.
Exactly. You want everyone to participate comfortably.
Yeah. It reminds me of another point that keeps coming up. Following the imam. Why is that so important?
Following the imam, it's about unity, attentiveness, and submission. Everyone mirroring the imam's movements.
Oh, yeah.
It's a powerful image.
Collective surrender to God.
Yes. You're not alone in prayer.
Right. You're guided.
Guided by those with knowledge and experience, but let's be honest. Sometimes we get distracted during prayer.
All the time.
Right. Our minds wander.
Actually,
We maybe even raise our heads before the imam.
That reminds me of that hadith.
The funny one.
The one where they might end up with donkey heads.
Exactly. A lighthearted way to make a serious point.
Right. Pay attention. Follow the imam.
Stay focused. But what about the other side of that coin?
What do you mean?
Being the imam.
Oh, leading the prayer.
It's a big responsibility. Sahih Bukhari talks about this a lot.
Yes, it's a position of honor.
But a heavy burden, too.
They have to guide the congregation.
Right.
Make sure the prayer is done properly.
And set the example.
Be humble. Be devoted. There's that incredibly moving story about the prophet.
When he was ill.
Yes. He instructs Abu Bakr to lead the prayer.
Such a powerful moment.
It was during his final illness.
A time of such grief and uncertainty.
And even then, the prophet made sure they continued to pray together.
It shows the importance of continuity, of collective worship.
Even in the face of adversity.
That's a perfect point to transition to what we'll be exploring in part 2. We've covered so much already.
I know, it's amazing how much is packed into just the Adhaan alone.
There's still so much more to uncover. We'll go even deeper into the spiritual and social implications of this practice.
I can't wait. See you all in part 2.
Welcome back. Ready to explore more of the Adhaan's impact on Muslim life?
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing how much we unpacked just in that first part,
Yeah,
from Bilal's story to those etiquette guidelines
yeah.
and the importance of praying together.
Right, right. But today, I want to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and look at how the Adhaan creates this sense of sacred space and time.
Mm, interesting.
You see, it's more than just saying, hey, it's time to pray. It transforms the atmosphere.
Yeah, I felt that.
It's like stepping into a different realm.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
the world slows down.
Right. It's a call to disconnect from everything worldly and reconnect with the divine, no matter where you are.
It's like the Adhaan creates a sacred space within you.
You got it. The divine is always there, surrounding us. And it's beautifully shown in one of those hadiths we talked about.
Which one?
Remember, the prophet postponing attacks when he heard the Adhaan?
Even during war.
Even then, it shows that reverence for prayer time.
Yeah, like no matter what's going on, prayer comes first.
Even when lives are on the line, it creates this sacred time.
Interesting.
Worldly affairs, they have to wait. War, everything, God takes precedence.
It's like saying even war has to operate within Islamic principles.
You got it.
There you
And
go.
that commitment to prayer, it's shown in another hadith too.
Which one's that?
The one about straightening the rows during prayer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Straighten your rows, or Allah will create disharmony amongst your faces.
It sounds a little strange, right?
It does at first.
But it's about unity and order. Okay.
When we align in those straight rows, we're embodying submission to God.
So it's not just about standing in line.
No, it's a reflection of our inner state.
Our bodies are mirroring the harmony we want in our hearts.
Exactly. And it creates this visual representation of unity,
The brotherhood and sisterhood.
standing together as one before God. And that unity goes beyond just our physical positions, too. Remember that hadith about following the imam's movements?
Yeah, yeah. Bow when he bows, rise when he rises.
Right, right.
Even pray sitting if he prays sitting.
It's about more than just being attentive, you know.
What else is there?
It's surrendering your own desires to the collective rhythm of the prayer. An act of unity, a lesson in humility.
Right, right. You're part of something bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You benefit from following those with knowledge, with experience.
Beautiful, like a synchronized spiritual dance.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
The imam leads, the congregation falls in harmony.
Yeah.
It creates this tranquility, this focus.
So you can really connect with God. But it's not just about the outward actions, is it?
Right, there's got to be more to it.
It's what's happening inside, too.
The intention.
Yes.
Right.
Sahih Bukhari emphasizes those inner dimensions of prayer.
Like what? What does it say?
Well, there's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says,
Yeah.
"When I stand for prayer, I intend to prolong it, but on hearing the cries of a child, I cut it short, as I dislike to trouble the child's mother."
Right. I remember that one.
It's about that balance between devotion and compassion.
Not just sticking to the rules, but recognizing the needs of others.
Be present, be attuned, approach prayer with a compassionate heart.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That same sensitivity is there in another hadith, too. When the Prophet advises imams to shorten the prayers.
For the weak, the sick, the old.
Right. Prayer should be accessible to everyone.
Regardless of what they're going through.
Exactly. Make worship a source of strength, not a burden.
That's a really good point. And that brings up something crucial, doesn't it?
What's that?
Prayer isn't about blindly following rituals. It's about cultivating that connection with God.
Nourishing our hearts.
Becoming better people.
Yeah.
More compassionate, more mindful.
Beautifully said. So we've seen how the Adhaan sets the stage for this spiritual journey.
Creating that sacred space and time.
Right, and those practices that go with it.
The rows, following the imams.
It all cultivates unity, humility, mindfulness.
We've learned so much, but I feel like there's still more to uncover.
Oh, absolutely. Our journey with the Adhaan and Sahih Bukhari isn't over yet. Join us in part 3
Okay.
as we delve even deeper into the spiritual and social implications of this practice.
Welcome back to Echoes of Ihsan. We're wrapping up our deep dive into the Adhaan today, exploring its profound impact, on Muslim life, as documented in Sahih Bukhari, Book 11. It's been quite a journey, right?
It really has. We've covered a lot of ground, unpacked the historical context, the etiquette surrounding it, and how it shapes that sense of sacred space and time. But there's still more to explore.
One thing that I find really fascinating is the Adhaan isn't just a call to prayer. It's also a powerful declaration of faith,
Oh, absolutely.
a public testament to to the core beliefs of Islam.
That's such a crucial point. Each phrase of the Adhaan, it's packed with meaning.
Yeah.
Affirming the oneness of God, the prophethood of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the centrality of prayer in our lives.
When the muadhin calls out Allahu Akbar, God is great.
Yeah.
It's more than just an announcement.
It's a proclamation,
Right.
a resounding proclamation of faith. It reverberates throughout the community and beyond.
And it's a proclamation that's repeated 5 times a day.
Exactly.
It weaves that thread of faith into daily life.
The Adhaan is a constant reminder, our relationship with God.
Right.
It's a call to realign ourselves, to surrender to his will. It's powerful,
Yeah.
an antidote to all the distractions of the world.
It pulls you back to what's important.
Exactly, to what truly matters.
And this public declaration of faith, this outward expression, it has a social dimension too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It creates a sense of belonging, a shared identity.
We're all in this together kind of feeling.
Exactly. The Adhaan, it transcends cultures and languages. It unites Muslims across the globe.
Wow.
Imagine it from bustling cities to quiet villages, the same words, the same call, resonating in millions of hearts.
It's amazing. It's like this universal language.
A symbol of unity,
Right.
reminding us we're part of something much bigger.
Yeah. A global community,
Yeah.
a brotherhood and sisterhood.
United by faith.
I've felt this when I've traveled. You hear the Adhaan in a foreign country, maybe you don't even understand the language,
Right.
but it brings this feeling of connection,
Sense of home.
like you're not alone.
Exactly. It's a language spoken by the heart.
It doesn't need any translation.
And that sense of community, it extends even beyond the living.
What do you mean?
Remember that hadith? Even jinn and other creatures,
Oh, wow, yeah.
they hear the Adhaan
They bear witness for the one who called it.
on the day of judgment.
It's a powerful concept.
Yeah. It highlights just how far-reaching the impact of the Adhaan is, beyond our understanding.
It emphasizes the responsibility of the muadhin,
Yes, such a profound responsibility. They carry the weight of faith.
conveying it with sincerity and reverence.
It's not just about having a nice voice.
It's more than that.
It's about so much more. And Sahih Bukhari also talks about the responsibility of the congregation, too.
Oh, right.
To respond to the Adhaan, to repeat the words, to go to the mosque.
We have to engage.
Exactly. Faith is an active engagement.
You have to make that choice again and again.
The Adhaan is a reminder, a call to action.
Prioritize prayer, come together.
Strengthen our connection with God and with each other.
It sets the rhythm of Muslim life.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
So we've talked about the Adhaan as this call to prayer,
Right.
as a declaration of faith,
Yes.
a symbol of unity.
And a reminder of our responsibility.
But before we finish, there's something I've been thinking about throughout this whole discussion.
I'm curious, what is it?
We focused a lot on the history, the meaning in the past. But what about today?
That's a great question.
In our modern world, It's fast-paced.
It is.
Everything's so different. Does the Adhaan still have the same power?
Does it still resonate?
Yeah. Does it speak to the hearts of Muslims today?
I think the answer lies in its ability to transcend time. The world is so fragmented,
It really is.
disconnected. But the Adhaan, it offers this sense of belonging, a connection to something greater than ourselves, a source of peace.
I feel that. When I hear the Adhaan, it's like this pause button.
In the middle of all the noise,
It's a moment of stillness.
it reminds us to slow down, to reconnect with ourselves. And in a world dominated by technology, which can be so isolating,
It can be.
the Adhaan calls us to come together,
To pray side by side.
to experience that collective worship.
Yeah. It's not just a relic of the past.
Wow.
It's a living tradition.
That continues to nourish our hearts.
To connect us.
To guide us.
It's beautiful.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration. I hope this has inspired you to maybe connect with this practice in a new way and to discover its beauty and wisdom.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us on this journey through Sahih Bukhari.
Yeah.
And may peace and blessings be upon you all.